From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief creator of amazing ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's podcast, I have my friend Vikas Singhal with me to give us an InstaWP update. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation Vikas and I had. This podcast is sponsored by Stunning Digital Marketing, the agency that can help protect your WordPress website today. Go to stunningdigitalmarketing.com and see what we can do to help you protect your business investment. That's stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. And today I'm here with my guest Vikas from InstaWP. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you, Rob. And thanks for having me over.
Yeah, it's your second appearance on the SDM show, and I'm glad to have you back. You've been doing some exciting work lately, and as I say, we have to support our devs in the community, so it's great to have you. One of the things I've noticed lately is you've been getting more involved in the community, haven't you? And that's a really good thing. And didn't you just hire a community manager for InstaWP as well?
Yeah, so we posted that on Twitter and got a lot of response. And we ended up hiring somebody from India, and he'll be joining, I think, in 1 week or so.
Good. And that's a big step for you guys saying, hey, we need to do some more of this, right?
Yes, definitely. We need to be connected to the community. We need to know how people are thinking, where they are going, in order to support them better via the software which we are building. So that's the idea. We don't want to be in a place where we are just building stuff which we think is good, but it doesn't actually work with anybody.
Yeah, and we all know the WordPress community is pretty vibrant. Vocal is a good word to put it, right? Opinionated is a good word to put it. You're laughing at me because we all know it's true, right?
Yeah, it has become, I think, vocal in the recent past couple of months also, which is, I think, from my perspective, is really good. If as long as is like respectful conversations and constructive feedbacks, it's always good for the community in general.
Yep. And I would say, one of the things I treasure most and why I keep working with WordPress is the community. People like you, people like that friend of ours, Mark Westgard, who we'll get into. You've done some work with. There he is again, showing up in my podcast. He should just start paying me a royalty, for. But that's.
He's everywhere, man. Mark is awesome, and he's everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, and people like the Courtney Robertsons of the world and Marcus Burnett's. We're really blessed, and the list goes on. Spencer Foreman's and Matt himself. So we are truly blessed to have the community we have, despite all the problems we have. I mean, the reality is when you get a big group of people together, you can always have a difference, right? No matter what.
Of course, it's how family works, right?
Yeah, and it is family. There's no question. You've been doing a lot with InstaWP since we really talked the last time, and we'll go back to that Mark Westgard guy because we can. One of the things you did was integration with WS Forms and InstaWP recently. How did that come about? Did you approach Mark? Did he approach you? And how did that kind of play itself out?
I guess Mark was looking for a demo solution for his own form product, right? And it's an excellent form product. And
no question.
And then he basically looked at our product, and within like 24 hours, he was actually playing around with API keys. which
Yep.
we have already released. And then maybe another 24 hours go by, and then he has developed an integration with InstaWP. And
Yep.
he's using that integration on his own website. So he's a customer, he is integrated with us, and means within 3 days, means I was just amazed on how much progress he made. But it was all him on the integration front. But we are actually glad to have this, because a lot of people asked us, can we like use our own form and then spin up product demos of our plugins or themes, and then customize the form as we need, and WS form is the answer for that.
Yep. And I think it's it's a really good answer for a multitude of things. I'll say on this podcast quite regular. Mike's been a guest multiple times on the show, and it's actually the form product that I run every day, all day on my site and my client sites. And one of the reasons I do is because of the integration with Cloudflare Turnstile. It's just so seamless, and it stops spammers in their tracks, and it makes life easy. So good for you guys for getting that done. That's a nice sort of coup in your hat. What other integrations did I see somewhere on Twitter that you just came out with another integration at the time of this record recently, or was my eyes?
Yeah, we just like moments ago I released or we released integration with local WP and any other like a local development tool. So you basically can upload your entire local website to InstaWP. There are a number of reasons why you wanted to do that. Basically, let's say you want to have like a copy online on a cloud or where, right? Means you need like a URL to share with your client or something. You can still do that with local WP, but obviously it's kind of janky. It only works when your laptop is alive. But it also works with like XAMPP, MAMP, or Laragon, whatever people are using these days. And it was a lot in demand actually in the recent months, and then we finally developed it.
And is there an easy way, which kind of brings me to my next question, and I don't know if I asked it, last time we chatted, to if you do some stuff in Instant WP, is it easy to export out of Instant WP back to a local site?
100%. Yeah. So you can do like a one-click export to local, and we are building export integration with others as well. And we are also working with Simply Static, so that you can export a static version of your website.
Oh, that's really cool. So from a speed perspective, a static version always goes faster.
Speed, security, yeah, everything. If it's like a fairly static website anyway, I think it's a great idea to host it. And also, like speed and security are two main WordPress kind of pain points. I'll not say flaws, because people don't actually understand them very well. You know that, right? And having static website can solve some of that.
Yeah. Being in the security space, and I think I spend a big part of my agency in that space. I would argue that it's a pain point no matter when you put a website online. And I kind of have a motto in my business that it's not if you'll be hacked, it's when, and how do you recover from that hack. Sooner or later, everybody's going to get compromised in their, whether it's in their web work for work or their personal life with a bank account or a credit card. Unfortunately, and I've shared this publicly, I've been the victim of bank fraud, and I've been through that. So with my account itself, and I'm a security guy, so if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. The scammers are now really, really smart, and with the advent of AI, you can't even imagine how far that will go.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny, and not that I want to turn this into a security podcast, but since we're talking about it, it's worth mentioning that one of the biggest reasons for hack is cookies that are still logged into systems, and that's I think Thomas Reef and Kathy Zant, who we both know quite well, have posted that recently and said, it's an issue with logged-in cookies, and that's even more of an issue than, believe it or not, themes and plugins out of date. So just a little interesting there.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, how do you handle the security side on Instant WP without giving away any of the under the hood sauce?
If you mean by like the InstaWP dashboard or the platform itself,
Exactly.
We follow standard security practices, both for plugin and the dashboard. So we use Laravel internally, and Laravel has very strong security built in as long as you use the framework correctly, which is like true for everything, right?
Yeah.
And also for the plugin, we try to use that, but you never know when a new vulnerability is found in your own plugin. I think it's important for plugin vendors to quickly release fix and notify.
Yep.
And I think that's the best way to go about it. And also, from the login perspective, we offer two-factor authentication. We try to expire cookies quickly, depending upon how you configure it. If you have
Good.
remembered your account, then yeah. So, and I have worked in the security industry for like over 12 years. I was a penetration tester, so I know a little bit about it. Um, that helps a lot, though.
No, I think it does. It gives you a totally different perspective than somebody who's just building a plugin, or even worse, going to AI and saying, build me a plugin. And one thing we're starting to learn,
Yeah,
you're laughing, is AI doesn't take in the best security practices. It's a good starting point, but it's not.
it
It's,
doesn't. Yeah, maybe your prompt you can just add like means follow all the best security practices, but even I doubt that will help completely.
I've
Um,
tried that.
Security
Those
is
things.
so security is obviously a different topic by itself, right? Means developers learn to develop great stuff, but nobody teaches them how to develop securely. I think that's something a lot of developers should learn. And I think there's a lot of good stuff on WordPress.org on how can you develop things securely by
Yep.
following those standardization and those kind of principles. Yeah.
And what I would say, if you're developing anything, look at the guys like Oliver Sid and his team over at Patch Stack. They do some testing of plugins to help you out. So look at venues like that and companies like that. They're not the only one.
Yeah,
But,
they're
really
doing great
good one.
stuff,
That,
100%.
no question. Um, can you share what your numbers are like these days? Like how many active users do you have? How many
Yeah, sure.
free users you have, etc., etc.
So on the platform, we have about 25,000 free users now,
Okay.
and about you can say about 5% of them are paying users, right?
That's typical, right?
Um, that's typical, yeah. One of the main pain points for us, right, today or nowadays is converting our free users to pay. And it's not about converting from a business standpoint, it's about understanding our users better so that we don't attract the users who never convert, right? I think for a healthy business, you should have a mix of both, right? People who actually want to try your product, and at some point, it can be a year later or any point of time, they actually want to upgrade uh, to a paid plan. So that is something which we are trying to solve and make it like a like an easy path for people to understand the value. I think the key word here is the value, right?
Yes,
The
I
more
agree.
they understand the value of the product when they upgrade, because if you are paying like $6 a month to us, you should be actually making uh, let's say 5 times of that using our software, right? Or it should make that much life easier for you, at least the $6 worth, right? So that is the idea.
Yeah, I think that's the key. In your marketing, have you looked at doing anything like an email newsletter to those users and saying, here's some good use cases why a pay plan would be better? Because I still think there's big value in email marketing, to be honest with
It is, and 100%. So we did Black Friday.
you.
We send regular newsletters to our users, two newsletters every month, and
Good.
then they also get like a chain of emails when they sign up, and they can always unsubscribe whenever they want. But we did so email marketing for us really played out well when we
Yeah.
did the Black Friday campaign, and we sold over like 400 licenses in 2 days. So that was
Awesome.
amazing.
That is amazing. That's like well done. Those are numbers that are not heard of in our space very often because that's well done.
Yeah, and community responded really well because one more thing which I found that WordPress community in general has been spoiled with discounts, right?
Yes.
All over. I don't know if you know that. So, and you obviously you know that. I mean, if you notice all the large
I do.
plugin developers, they offer amazing discounts all the time, and I s- I told to myself, oh man, I have to follow the same I have to follow the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not, right? You don't need to actually follow the exact same thing, but giving them regular discounts have a feeling of means it has to be balanced out, right? You cannot just keep giving discounts because that discounted price becomes your regular price then, right? So it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
really
agree.
work that way.
It's funny you mentioned the discounts, and I don't know if you saw my tweet around Christmas, but I upped all my rates by 25% for next year across the board, everything. And not only did I
Nice.
up all my rates, I canceled all my grandfathered in pricing at the same time, with a couple of
Nice.
exceptions. So I just said, forget this. And, I had some clients scream at me. I must say that.
Mm,
And
of
my
course.
response is, if you don't see the value in what I'm giving you, then maybe you're better off going elsewhere anyway. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a
so,
mature decision, right? Means clients have to make that. They have to make a choice.
yeah. So I think one of the things we do in WordPress, as a disservice, and you hit the nail on the head, is we keep offering discounts. And I think that sometimes undervalues what we do. And that's a problem, I think.
And WordPress is in general cheap as it is, right? Means you get like 10 sites license in what, like $50,
Yeah.
and it's not sustainable over a period of time. I would like to solve that at some point with InstaWP by doing a plugin and theme license integration, but
Yeah.
that is like 3 months down the line. But I feel that there is a huge imbalance. The
Hmm.
first imbalance is that if somebody wants to buy just a one site license, it is very expensive.
Yeah.
Not everybody is an agency, not everybody is a freelancer. So for end users, it becomes really difficult
It
by
does.
going to these vendors, different vendors, and then purchasing these licenses. And then that ends up costing like the startup amount itself is like $500 plus when you want to buy, let's say, 4, 5, 10 plugins, right? But it shouldn't be like that. It means I should be just paying like $49 or $99, and I should get like all my core essential plugins, right, which needed for like a membership site or whatever site, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is a huge problem to solve, and we should be doing something about it.
Yeah, I would agree. Kind of the way I handle plugin licenses is different than most agencies. Unless it's a security plugin or a backup plugin, my users and my clients are on their own to cover their own plugin costs. I don't want any part of that. And one of the reasons for it is, frankly, is if a client picks up and decides they don't want to use my services anymore, they want to go somewhere else. They're not in a lurch saying, oh, I have to pick up all these plugin costs. They know up front what they're doing. So I take the other
Right.
approach and say to the client, it's your responsibility. You figure it out. And I'll help you figure it out, but you're paying for it. I'm not paying for it. It's the
Right. And
same.
mhm,
It's the same reason why, as agencies, we encourage clients to register their own domain names, ownership, right? So
that's a
I'm
good
very
idea.
much in the ownership and the self empowerment
And
process.
that's the philosophy of is owning your own data and owning your own
Yep.
uh, stuff, right, with WordPress itself. But I think, as I said again, means end clients end up paying a huge amount, and agencies they pay they have to buy like a 10 site or a 100 site license. So I think there's a huge imbalance which can be solved at some point.
Yeah. Um, we're talking integrations. We talked about the one with WS Forms. We talked to the one with Local. What is next on your roadmap? Can you share?
Yeah. So two things are coming up huge. One is InstaWP Live, which is our hosting platform. So so far, you and everybody has seen our staging solution, which is a one-click staging website. And then the next part will be one-click go live. So you can just go live with your staging sites. Not only you can go live with our own platform, you connect like a Run Cloud or GridPane or all those kind of control panels to because we don't want any vendor lock-ins, right? We are against that. So we want to keep it open So that is one. Second thing which is coming huge is WAS, which is website as a service. A lot of
Yes.
agencies are looking for solutions to sell pre-made templates along with hosting, with like a very basic one-click checkouts. So, and we are now empowering over 20, the number is now 35 plus, who are now selling via InstaWP. So for 2024, my goal is to like build products which helps with agencies growth, right? Freelancers and agencies can actually build solutions around InstaWP, which helps them grow their business.
The last one I find really interesting because that sector is starting to take off big time, especially with small businesses that look at the price of a website and they say, I don't want to spend $3,000 to start. I'd rather pay a monthly fee and jump on that. And I think that whole marketplace is kind of changing. And it's easier for a small business to swallow 50 or 60 bucks a month sometimes, or $100 a month or $200 a month than to spend $3,000 up front. So I think
Yeah,
that market's about to explode in a big way.
that
And
is
Frank,
that is amazing.
and I think it's the only way for WordPress to take on the Weebly's and the Squarespaces of the world and the
I was
Wixes.
about to say that exactly that. That when an agency owner or a WordPresser wants to fight against these Wixes and Weebly's of the world, I think WAS can be an amazing
Yeah.
thing there. And then they offer best of both world, right? You have a ready-made website, but if you want further customization to it, you can buy our services, right? But you don't need to pay, as you said, $3,000 upfront to get like a basic output. You get output day zero right away. So
Yeah.
that's the
So
idea.
so true. Have you looked at any integrations so people can do testing? Because we know a lot of your user base uses Instant WP for testing, for like security plugins or anything around that sector to come back down.
Sorry, you got
Ha-
cut off, Rob. Maybe
It's okay. Have you looked at any security plugin integration so that your users can do some
oh, okay.
security testing in Instant WP? Have you explored
We
that
did
avenue at
integrate
all?
with WP Scan, so it is
Okay.
built into our platform. So all if you create a staging website with Insta, so you can scan it with the vulnerabilities. And if you have another point is that if you have a live website, you can install our plugin and we can do the scanning for you
Okay.
on that website. So both are scannable, and this is general vulnerability scan, not like a malware scan.
Yep.
I would like to do that with some plugin at some point because developing malware scanner ourselves
Yeah.
is going to be a huge task.
Yeah, you're almost better off, I think, going to somebody like a Patch Stack. I know Solid WP did that, formerly
Mhm.
iThings, and they've partnered on all their stuff with Patch Stack. I think you're almost better off to choose a vendor and go there and say, let's work on a
Yeah,
partnership together than
yeah.
develop that scanner on
We
your
have
own.
been actually talking with them very recently with Oliver. I think they have great product.
Yeah, I do too, and he's one of my favorite people in the security space. He does an amazing job,
Same.
and
Yeah.
I'm so there with him. So I think his team is great. Is there any other things you see for Instant WP coming down the road that we haven't talked about?
A lot of stuff, as I said, means for now, our focus is building solutions which agencies can use to build their business on. So hosting, VAS, and a lot of stuff with our staging plugin and remote management, something like what Managed WP offers, but in a much sleeker manner. And we are also trying to enter into the hosting providers world, where a lot of hosting companies are now partnering with us
Yep.
to enable their playground. So a lot of companies in Europe have now started using InstaWP. So a lot of product companies in the WordPress world, like Gravity Forms and others, have already started using our solution. Same goes with hosting companies as well. They need like a one-click demo creator, and then the
Yep.
demo sites can be migrated into the hosting platform. So how cool is that? So people can
That it
actually
that's cool.
start with using WordPress right away rather than like creating an account and then buying a hosting plan, blah blah blah. So that also like reduces friction for new users into the WordPress world.
I think reducing friction is been overlooked lately in a number of places. So it's really good on you guys for tackling that one.
Yeah.
So
I have a firm belief that if WordPress had a better onboarding overall, not just like creating a website, but end to end, then Wixes and Weebly's do not actually need to exist. They exist; they are good businesses. I don't have any problem with them. But due to the gap which we had, these guys are thriving, right? But if we fix those gaps, I think we can fix the leaky bucket where people are going into the other systems and then keep them or retain them even better.
No, I agree with you. And you can toss Shopify into that mess too, by the way, just for fun.
100%. I think Shopify solves another problem with its scalability with WordPress. I think that should be also solved at some point.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with scalability in WordPress is people think they can scale on cheap hosting. And to be fair, in some countries, economics play into the WordPress game. So that's why we still have cheap hosting plans. But we all know that if you want to scale properly, you got to go to a proper hosting plan. And for an e-commerce site, that can set you back like $100 US a month. And we got to realize there's a big difference between $100 a month plan and a $50 a month plan and a $20 a month plan. And users don't
100%.
look at what the plans give you. So we got to start to really drill that into people that say scalability matters. So,
Yep.
is there anything else that you wanted to touch on to do with InstaWP today? Because
No, we'll be just that we'll be at WordCamp Asia, WordCamp Europe, and we'll be looking forward to meet everybody physically. In-person meets are always great.
yeah, and go see Vikas. He's a great guy, and spend some time with him and his team because they're always pretty open to hearing your suggestions and your comments. I've had the pleasure many times, so thank you for that. If somebody wants to talk about InstaWP, how's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm on X / Twitter at Vikas Programmer. I'm also on LinkedIn, so you can get hold of me, or you can just click on live chat on our website.
Thanks, Vikas, for this. Have an amazing day, my friend. Be well.
Thanks, Rob, for having me again. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. This show is brought to you by StunningDigitalMarketing.com, your Toronto leader in digital marketing services. Not only do we protect your WordPress website, we can help you with your site, provide social media management for your business, or even do one-on-one consulting. To find out more, go to StunningDigitalMarketing.com. A very special thank you to Vikas for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. Hey everybody, Rob here again. Thanks for listening to the SDM Show. It's such a pleasure to have you every week. If you want more on our agency website, go to StunningDigitalMarketing.com. We are your WordPress security experts. We'd be glad to help you out. If you want to learn more about me, Rob Cairns, go to meetrobcairns.online. From there, you can find links to everything I do on the web, as well as book time with me. So feel free. If you want to make comments about this podcast or know a guest possibly suitable for the podcast, please email us at podcast@stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Or conversely, you can go to X, formerly known as Twitter, and tweet at me at Rob Cairns. This podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much, and I love you. Please join us next week for another interesting podcast, and have a great week, everybody. Bye for now.